What kind of property should you put in your trust? I'm Michael Redden, and if you have a question about this topic, please leave it in the comments below. If you'd like to plan with me, please click on the link in the description and schedule a planning session, or go to reddenlawoffice.com and click on schedule a meeting. So what kind of property should you put in your trust? This is something that a lot of people wonder about. They've gotten this trust for their estate plan or for asset protection or business planning, and they kind of wonder what to do with it. This is a process called funding your trust. And you really should put any kind of assets that you don't want to go through probate or that you have special concern for into the trust. There are a couple of ways you can kind of do that. Some of those ways is to title it to go directly in there. And a lot of times this will be for real estate, this will be for jewelry and things like that. Or you may put your securities and investment accounts directly in there. You can't put your IRA or other qualified accounts in there because then you'll lose the tax deferment and that qualified status. But if you don't have a qualified account, you probably should put your stocks and your bonds and other things inside there. Your cars and things like that, that's kind of touch and go for you because the Department of Vehicle Services doesn't do a really good job with managing trust-owned vehicles and having vehicles going to trust. So that's something you might be able to keep outside of it. The other accounts, it's really up to you. You can title your checking account in there if you don't mind carrying trust checks around and always signing them as the trustee, or you can just make it the pay on death. At the minimum of what you should do for all of your assets is have the pay on death or the transfer on death be the trust. That way things avoid probate, they go into the trust and they can be managed that way. For some things like your businesses, they should definitely be going straight into the trust. You put your business into the trust, and then it avoids probate and does all those other kinds of things that you wanted. It also can sometimes protect the assets and make sure it goes to your heirs. If it is an irrevocable trust, one that you can't take back, then you probably shouldn't put all the business inside there unless you're the only beneficiary of it, because we really need you to be able to have access to money and not make yourself broke and insolvent. But in general terms, even when that's the case, I don't recommend putting all of your business inside there. All of your business going inside inside a revocable trust, that's probably okay. But if you're going to make it irrevocable, then you want to keep some of it outside to either put into a revocable trust or into your own name. That way you can easily get it back out and things, and you won't be deemed insolvent. That's one of the things we don't want, is to where if someone looks at you, whether it's a bank or someone, you need to get a loan, and since someone other than you owns it all, then you don't really have anything. You don't have any kind of credit worthiness. That's not really a problem for those revocable trusts because they know you can just take it back out. But for irrevocable, that can be an issue. So really, you need to put everything inside that trust that you want to avoid probate, pass on to your heirs. If it's for asset protection, it's everything you need to protect yourself with, or something that you want to protect. But what you don't want to do is put everything inside an irrevocable trust and leave you owning nothing, because then that affects your credit worthiness and it can make you insolvent. Any questions or comments, please leave them below.